Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the Rambling About Wrestling podcast. And today, we're talking Backlash France. Now, these overseas pay-per-views, man, I just want to tell you one thing. I never know what time they start. I get very confused. And now SmackDown tomorrow, it's live from France. So is it still on at 8 o'clock here? Or is it on early? I don't know. Besides the point, I'm very excited for this pay-per-view, even though I really haven't been paying attention as much as I usually do. Been very busy with some stuff. Anyways, I have the card pulled up here. It looks like we have 5 matches on this card as of now. Will they add one more? It's possible. You don't got a United States Championship match, and you don't got an Intercontinental Championship match. I'm going to assume they're adding Sammy versus Bronson Reed, or maybe a triple threat. I don't know. But Raw already happened, so that's probably not going to be the case. When it comes to the United States Championship, we could get Logan Paul defending, but who's he even feuding with right now? Couldn't even tell you, honestly. I thought he was with Orton and Owens, but now they're back with the Bloodline for like the 20th time. It is what it is. Anyway, let's get into this card with a matchup that I'm very excited about, actually. It is for the women's tag team titles, and it's probably the only time I've ever been invested in the women's tag titles ever since the Iconics won at WrestleMania. And you got the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, going up against my girls, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. I'm genuinely shocked that Jade and Bianca are both on SmackDown. I thought they would have kept them apart and used the tag team to keep them, together to build a feud for WrestleMania or for Survivor Series, whatever they wanted to do. But like I said, that's just not the case. You're going to have new women's tag team champions. I think having Jade in a tag team right now is the best thing for her because it's something she's not used to. She's had her dominant singles run. She's one of the most dominant women they have in this entire company. And putting her with the face of the women's division for many years, Bianca Belair, they're immediately on the same level. So Asuka, I think, is working injured. I think it was her ankle or her knee that's been bad since before Mania. I don't know. I think she needs some time off. Kairi Sane, let's give her a singles run. Why don't we send Kairi down to NXT to win the NXT Women's North American Championship and have a feud against Julia? I think that would be awesome. I would love to see it. But as a tag team, the Kabukis, they were great like 3 years ago when they first won the belts, or however many years ago it was. Now they just have them. Damage Control, they kind of fallen apart. Yes, they're on Raw now. You got some new fresh faces that they can fight. They're not going to have the tag titles anymore. Time for them all to branch off and be singles competitors. Kairi and Dakota especially. Asuka's been there. She's done that. She needs some time off. Let her come back, be repackaged again, and hopefully they don't ruin her this time. But Jade and Bianca are my picks to be the new women's tag champs. And I would have this open the card. Start off strong. Moving on from this, you could go straight to the Bloodline matchup if you want, or you can go to the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm more inclined to say maybe it's the World Heavyweight Championship. So you have Damian Priest in his first title defense against Jey Uso. And this one, people aren't really excited for it, but they did have a good interaction in the ring one time where Jey got Priest to crack a little bit. They're going to try and show off. They want to have a better matchup than Cody and Styles. And I think with these two guys, when they're motivated, they could do just that. At least let Priest get to SummerSlam as the champion. When you get there, you could have anybody beat him. You could have Jey. Maybe LA Knight gets traded to Raw and Jey Uso gets traded to SmackDown to continue the Bloodline story that there's going to be. He's never going to get out of it. But you just have LA Knight go for Damian Priest. Or you have LA Knight win Money in the Bank and cash in on Damian Priest. Because if you remember back to Money in the Bank last year, you had LA Knight about to win, and then Priest slammed him off the ladder and he won the Money in the Bank. It became Senior Money in the Bank. So Triple H likes his long-term booking. I would have LA Knight be the one to dethrone Damian Priest down the line. But in regards to this match, I think it's going to be better than Jey and Jimmy was at Mania. And Damian Priest will retain with some Judgment Day shenanigans because they got some stuff going on too. Not too sure how long Judgment Day is going to be together for, especially because you got Dirty Dom in the little closet in the backstage area with Liv Morgan that they didn't talk about, but we saw in a backstage segment. You see Liv walk out of the room, and then you see Dirty Dom walk out of the room. So something's cooking there, and it's going to lead to Liv winning that women's world title. About damn time. Let's get to the women's triple threat matchup for the WWE Women's Championship. You have all three eras technically in this match. You have Tiffany, who is the new era. You have Naomi, who is the Divas era. And you have Bayley, who was the, after the Give Divas a Chance, the refresh era. That's what I'll call it, at least. Now, Bayley, she's not losing. But if she were to, I could see it happening. And I would give it to Tiffany. Even though I don't think now's the time for that. I think Tiffy will win Money in the Bank and will eventually beat Bayley, just like LA Knight will probably beat Damian Priest. Tiffany is she's such a huge star. And it seems to me that they're cooking something up with Tiffany and Nia Jax. But hear me out. The last few months, Nia Jax has actually been kind of entertaining to me. She didn't have the best performance in the Women's Royal Rumble, which is all right. It wasn't expected to be a good performance. When you look at social media, Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax have been hanging around each other a lot. Tiffany is what Alexa Bliss was to Nia back in the day. Frick! I think they could go for the women's tag team titles whenever they become a tag team, which I'm sure will happen. And you get Jade and Nia. They had the encounter in the Rumble. Jade and Bianca against Nia and Tiffany. And Tiffany was supposed to have a singles match against Bianca at WrestleMania, if you remember. So it writes itself. So does Tiffy win this match? No. What about Naomi? She's the odd one out. I think Naomi takes the pin. And it leads to a heel turn. You could only feel the glow. For so long, Bayley's going to hold the belt. She's going to win. Tiffany's probably going to hit the prettiest moonsault ever onto Naomi. And Bayley's going to run in, hit the rose plant, throw her out of the ring, and then pin Naomi. And Naomi's going to be pissed. So I'm looking forward to see where they go from here. Because the SmackDown Women's Division and the Raw Women's Division, thank God they shook things up. Not on Friday's draft, but on Raw's draft. I'm glad they shook some things up. If it were up to me, one of the greatest acquisitions on the SmackDown Women's roster, Tegan Nox, should win the championship. I love that woman. As a talent, let's talk the new bloodline. You got Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, who just can't get away from the bloodline shenanigans, going up against Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa, the new head of the table. And I just want to bring to everybody's attention Solo Sikoa's singles record since he beat Cena. It's not very good. He's won like 1 or 2 matches, including on live events. And he's lost like 30. So he's your new tribal chief. And you got Tama Tonga, who has yet to have a singles match. He's been portrayed as like a loose cannon who comes out, beats the hell out of anybody that's there. He's got a good look. Is he a good worker? I think he's going to be a better worker in WWE than he would have been anywhere else. I feel like his whole thing is more suited for the WWE style. I don't know. Tama Tonga is going to have time to show off in this match, and let's hope he doesn't go doing this move that he does into the corner. I couldn't find the clip of this, but it just looked terrible. So if he does that to Randy Orton, I might throw something at the TV. It was just really poorly delivered and sold. But I'm sure Solo's not going to get into this ring very long in this match. I think Tama Tonga and Randy Orton are going to go at it. They're going to try to put Tama Tonga on the same level as Orton. And once Tama Tonga cannot put Orton down, and Tama Tonga's been getting beat up a little bit, you're going to have Solo Sikoa tag in, look like he's going to win. Maybe he'll eat a stunner, and then you get the one and only Jacob Fatu debuting and giving the new bloodline the win. And quite frankly, Jacob Fatu is insane. This guy does a moonsault that's really good. Former champion MLW. I would love if Jacob Fatu showed up and had the best performance out of all 4 of these men, even if he's just there for 2 minutes. He just has something about him. He's got it. And he will be a WWE champion within the next few years. I could see him and Solo having a singles match, maybe at Mania or SummerSlam. But this new bloodline, yes, they'll last until Survivor Series. After Survivor Series, you could have a ton of different matches that you can do. Solo versus Tama, which I'm really more invested in Solo versus Jacob Fatu. And if you don't know who Jacob Fatu is, like I said before, go do some research, watch some clips. He is so good. And he is a major pickup by WWE. Now let's get to the next chapter in Cody Rhodes' story, according to his merchandise. Continuing the story. Meanwhile, he finished the story, so why is he continuing it? I don't know. He's writing a new chapter. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. But he hasn't been so phenomenal the last few months. He lost at Mania to LA Knight. Yeah, great booking decision. And now he's got the WWE Championship match, and LA Knight does not, because in the tournament that they had, AJ Styles beat LA Knight, which is just strange. But they clearly have something in the works for LA Knight down the line. Styles versus Cody, you got story there, because back in the day, AJ Styles also had a match against Dusty. I don't know if they brought it up on television or not, but Styles has that experience that everybody else that's a current competitor in WWE does not have. This is just going to be a fantastic match. Styles is not winning. Cody's story is not getting cut short. I think Cody's going to be Cody too much in this. It's going to be too much of a story match. Cody's going to be selling his shoulder. Oh, he hurt his shoulder against Carmelo Hayes. He's going to be selling the shoulder the whole night. Styles is going to hit a Styles Clash from the top rope. Oh, Cody's shoulder. Oh, look, wince, cry. Oh. I love Cody. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing him or anything. It's going to be a lot of that in this match. And Cody's ultimately going to get the hot streak, come up, hit one or two crossroads, and he's going to beat Styles and retain the championship. But there's one more thing that's going to happen at Backlash France. And if it doesn't happen, I'll be shocked. We're going to have Uncle Howdy, or whatever incarnation of Bo Dallas, Taylor Rotunda that they're cooking up, we will be getting it. And the reason why it makes sense, you had the White Rabbit teasers, and I'm looking up at my plaque to make sure I get the dates right. The White Rabbit teasers for Bray Wyatt, they started and then ran about 5 weeks or so until at Extreme Rules, not the horror show at Extreme Rules, just Extreme Rules. They basically said something was happening. The show ends. You see the watermark pop up. You say, is it actually happening? Then the lights go out. Out comes Bray Wyatt. I could see a similar thing happening here. You have Cody Rhodes holding up that title, winning the match. The watermark comes up. Thank you for watching. Lights go out. You get the Uncle Howdy tease. And honest to you, I don't think we're getting Uncle Howdy. I think all of this is to bring in Eric Rowan. Uncle Howdy, yes, we may see him, but I don't think he's coming out. I think he's just going to be a backstage presence on the screen. He will never come back out to the ring again. I could be totally wrong. I would see him as the higher power speaking to Wyatt with the Wyatt Six. You got Wyatt, you got Uncle Howdy, then you got the 4 people that actually come out and represent this group. And Eric Rowan coming back. He is just recently re-signed with WWE. I think they said a few weeks ago, right when these vignettes started playing. Eric Rowan is very underrated. You may remember him from the one and only stairs match that he had against The Big Show. Don't remember him by that. Remember him as Eric Redbeard in AEW when he had 1 or 2, maybe 3 appearances, and he looked really good. I want this version of Eric Rowan. I want him to come out. Maybe all of this leads to Uncle Harper that WWE trademarked. I am so excited now for this to happen. If they don't pull the trigger, I'm going to be upset, and I'm going to be worried that this whole thing, maybe it's not going to live up to the legacy. And I would absolutely hate for that to happen. So there you have it. Those are my Backlash France predictions. You got new women's tag champs, Jade and Bianca. You have the new bloodline defeating the RKO. I guess that's what their tag team is going to be called. With the help of Jacob Fatu debuting. You have Bayley pinning Naomi to retain the WWE Women's Championship. You have Damian Priest defeating Jey Uso after some Judgment Day shenanigans, I'm sure. And you got Cody Rhodes continuing his story against AJ Styles. And I'm sure they're going to have another match or two after this, which I'll be seated for. And I hope you are as well. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. This has been my Backlash France predictions. And I'll catch you all on the next episode. So let's keep rambling, everybody.